In today's video, we're going to be discussing a trade we may see happen in the offseason between the New York Rangers and the Calgary Flames. I'll get all the details coming up next. Welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We're reviewing and discuss all 31 NHL teams. So if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. Alright, so I think it's quite a possibility here that to come the offseason, we might see a trade go down between the Calgary Flames and the New York Rangers. And here I'll explain why. For starters, the Calgary Flames do not have a first-round draft pick for the 2018 NHL Draft. They traded away that pick and when they picked up Travis Hamonic last offseason. So they've been on record to say that they'd like to make a move to regain a first-round pick for this draft coming up in June in Dallas, Texas. The 2018 draft, as we've talked about quite a bit here on this channel, it's a very deep draft with lots of talent available, and they'd like to be able to get their first-round pick back. Obviously, whatever pick they get is going to be from a different team, so it's hard to say where it's going to be in the draft order. However, a first-round pick is a first-round pick, and it should land them a pretty decent prospect going forward. So now the reason that I'm speculating that deal could go down with the Rangers is that the Rangers have a lot of picks. The Rangers have loaded up on draft picks based on a lot of the deals they made at the trade deadline, and they now have 3 first-round picks as well as 2 in the second and 2 in the third round. So they have a lot of picks in the first 3 rounds right now. They've got 7 draft picks. And they've been on record to say they wouldn't be opposed to trading one of those first round picks in order to improve their team and maybe get a player who's going to get into the lineup a little bit quicker. So obviously the Rangers have their own first round pick, and they also have the first round pick from Tampa as well as Boston. Now obviously right now it looks as though Tampa and Boston are going to have a potential opportunity to have a deeper playoff run. So those first round picks could be quite late in the first round. It's hard to say exactly. Depends on how well those teams do in the playoffs. But either way, it's definitely going to be in the second half of the first round for sure. Possibly near the tail end, depending on where they go. So obviously if the Calgary Flames are going to be obtaining a first round pick, that means that they're going to have to trade something that's a fairly significant asset. Well, the one area that the Calgary Flames are really strong at least on paper, they have a lot of good young defensemen. And while in my opinion, the New York Rangers could certainly use some defense. Based on all the moves they've made, that blue line is very much depleted, and it's basically the equivalent of an American Hockey League blue line right now. Some of the guys like Pionk, for example, it hasn't been playing too badly, but it's hard to say where they're going to go with this decor for next season. I think they could certainly use an upgrade with another experienced guy back there. So, for example, could we see the Flames consider moving one of their defensemen? I mean, for a first-round pick, it might take like a Dougie Hamilton. Hard to say, but where they have a lot of other younger defensemen coming up through the ranks here with the Flames organization, would they be willing to consider trading one of their top 4 guys in order to return a first-round pick? Obviously, the Calgary Flames have been a very underwhelming team this year. They've struggled to be consistent at all, but over the last number of years to get into the playoffs and remain a competitive team consistently year after year. So I do think it's quite possible that they're going to attack the core of that team and make a move or two in the offseason. I don't see them going into a full rebuild, but I do see them doing a retool by moving 1, maybe 2 core players off that team in order to kind of rejuggle things. And as I mentioned in another video, wouldn't be surprised to see a coaching change. So could the Rangers and the Flames be good trading partners based on what they each have and what they each need? I think it's quite possible. Now, another couple other quick notes here before we go. Not really trade related, but signing related. Looks as though the Nashville Predators will have Eli Tolvanen in their lineup sooner than later. As soon as his season wraps up with Jokerit, he should be joining the Predators. Looks as though the contract's pretty well agreed to. The immigration stuff's already been worked on, so it should be fairly quick. From the time his season ends, he should be into the Predators lineup and get in at least a couple of games, I would think, before the regular season comes to an end here coming up in April. So Tolvanen is going to be another added weapon for the Predators in their lineup as they go on their quest here for a Stanley Cup. Obviously, we've seen some other college free agents sign lately and have a fairly good impact, like Ryan Donato's done really well in Boston. We saw Christian Wolanin make his debut with the Senators last night. Even though he didn't end up scoring a goal or getting on the score sheet, he did look pretty decent out there defensively. Obviously, Connor McDavid, is a tough guy to play against. He did get caught against McDavid a couple of times, but overall still looked pretty decent. His poise with the puck on the offensive side of the game is what we were expecting. That he looked very comfortable and looked pretty decent, played a decent amount of minutes for his first NHL game. So I know he'll probably get enough exposure here going down the stretch to see what is best for his development going forward as well. There should be some other potential rookies and college free agent signings here going down as the seasons wrap up in college hockey as well. So certainly stay tuned for more guys that might be jumping into the NHL here as the season comes to an end before over the next couple of weeks here. So keep your eyes open for college free agents. We're kind of into that season now. If you're new to the channel, I hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 teams and there's plenty of content for everyone here to enjoy. If you haven't done so already as well, please consider checking us out on social media. You're going to find our Twitter handle on the screen right here. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, and all those accounts are linked down below in the description. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will catch you next time.